Now then, here we are, me and the mutt. The camouflage mutt, he blends in so well in this snowy terrain. Anyway, we are out on an absolutely brutal adventure. We're heading to the summit of Helvellyn, and we've come across a fairly sort of straightforward way up. There's nothing too technical about it, but the wind is just non-stop, and because of that it has just made every single step hard work. We're just currently hiding out of the wind, just sheltered for a minute so I can just at least talk to the camera. But you can see the spin drift. It's gonna be a tough one. We're heading to the summit of Helvellyn, and once we get there we're going to assess the situation, see what this weather's like, because it's probably absolutely crazy winds up there and no place to pitch a tent, especially with the increased danger being so cold. Current temperature is about -2, but we do have a wind chill of -11 today, so it's not a place to be dicking about at all. Whoa. And when that wind hits, it really does hit. Anyway, I've got all the gear to survive. I've got my mitts on, full windproof jacket and bottoms. We just need to get that place to pitch a tent, eh? Complete white out there, look at that. Hey Blue, come here. Well, I've made it to the summit shelter, but there's not really much shelter because the wind is just swirling around all over, so we're gonna have to get ourselves back down from here. And I think the easiest and safest way is to go down Swirl Edge. So I'm going to put my spikes on, and then we're going to take a very slow, steady descent down Swirl Edge, down to the town, and then we'll see what happens when we get there. But this is just too much. It's too much. I'd never get a tent up in this, I don't think. Go on then, get on. Alright, stand. It's my turn. A little bit slower. It's definitely about being the tortoise today, not the hare. And there's definitely no race. Go on then, Blue, get on. Good boy, stand. It's always good because he generally picks the best path to go down, so I can just sort of follow his footprints. And it also gives me a gauge on how deep the snow is, how slippy it is. So yes, although I'm not as able as him, as a team we do pretty well. He helps me, I help him. Go on then, get on, Blue. Alright, stand. Yeah, it's all about having that control really, making sure that he doesn't get lost. It's brutal though, absolutely brutal. Just can't see a thing, nothing. Well, I've made it down Swirl Edge, and it was very slow going, no point risking anything at all, so every single foot I placed and made sure that I was going to be safe with it. It's bloody brutal though. You'd never get down that in these conditions without some crampons though, not a chance. It would be just lethal. Anyway, we're down to relative safety. Always following the dog. We've made it down to Red Town, and you can't really see much anyway. It is definitely a wild day. Anyway, the weather, it did say that it was going to ease off later on, so if I can endure this for the next couple of hours, it just means that we can get the tent up, get into some nice warm clothes and have some nice food. So it's actually really tempting, but it's finding somewhere to pitch a tent, that's all, that's going to be out of this wind. What are you doing down there? Come on. Right, I've had some time wandering around and pondering, and I've come up with a decision. I'm gonna camp. Whilst I was on the summit, I was thinking there's absolutely no chance that I'm going to be able to camp because it's just too wild. And to be honest, if you go 50 yards that way or 50 yards that way, it is still bloody wild, and it would be a struggle to get the tent up. And I think there'll be a lot of the spin drift just constantly pushing up under the fly sheet and on the inner, so I think it might be quite annoying. So what I'm going to do instead, I am going to pitch here, which is right next to the tarn, and all I've done is I've sort of dug out a little bit of the gravel, and I've pulled it all one way, and I think I'm going to be able to squeeze my tent in. And what I've also done is I've grabbed a few rocks ready, and those stones are going to just hold the pegs in, because this stuff here, as you can see, it's just a bit gritty and sandy. So anyway, let's have a go at getting this tent up, and at least we can actually get to camp out tonight. I'm happy now. I squeezed her in, and it was definitely an awkward challenge. It was like playing a very hard game of Tetris, but I've made it work. I've had to use a few stones on the pegs just to make sure they sort of stay in the ground, because obviously I've just basically gone into gravel, so there's not much purchase on them. But she's standing quite well there, and in that time, look at the bags. Absolutely covered, and the dog as well. Hey Bluey. Luckily it's quite dry snow, so it should just sort of shake off us anyway, and then we can get in the tent, get some nice warm clothes on, and have some food, I reckon. Absolutely awesome. I am so glad I decided to do this, because I could have quite easily backed out. In my head I was honestly 50-50, so yeah, but look where I am. Look at that. A fantastic view of some misty tarn. I feel battered. That has definitely tired me out after enduring all that weather for the last sort of few hours, and then having to battle getting a tent up. And I finally did it, and I'm quite happy with it because it's obviously going to keep us dry for the evening. But what an effort that was. So now I am warm because I've got my jacket on. I've got my sexy leggings on, but these are slightly damp because I did have them on under my trousers. So I'm not going to put my down bottoms on until my body heat has dried these out a bit, really. The dog's covered up. He's sort of been cleaning himself, so he's happy as well. And now I am going to just have some lunch. A late lunch, we will say. And this is like a tuna pasta type thing. And you can see that. So obviously pretty healthy, and it's quite filling as well, so it's perfect really just to carry up here. Although if it did get punctured, this sort of top, whilst it was in my bag, you'd end up with all these sort of oils going everywhere, so definitely have to be careful. I really do feel I need that. What a day. It has honestly just been, what's the word for it? Bollocks. Well, it's still light. I'm going to get out and see what's going on. Oh, wow. Can't do this. Way up there. Well, that is just absolutely beautiful. If my tears weren't frozen, it would bring a tear to my eye. Absolute winter wonderland. Just beautiful. I am going to have to be a bit careful with this tent though, because as you can see, we've got quite a lot of snow that's piling on top of it and on that side, so I'm going to have to sort of keep giving it a shake from the inside just to get rid of some of that weight. But apart from that, you can't beat this, can you? Anyway, I'm going to get myself back inside and probably a cup of tea. I think that'll be a nice thing to have now. Yeah. I just absolutely love it. Welcome to the chaos of my tent. It's literally the messiest I've ever had it. I've got stuff hanging up. I've just boiled some water because I'm going to have a hot chocolate and coffee, so that is going to be absolutely well deserved. I've got wet gear just sprawled out everywhere. I'm keeping myself dry in my down gear just on this side of the tent because obviously this is what's going to keep me warm for the night. I am on my third set of gloves. This is my little set of Rab gloves, which are like, what they're called, the Pertex Quantum gloves. And these are just a really small packable mitt. So I put these in for getting in the tent when everything else is wet, and it just gives me something dry to keep my hands warm. The other two pairs I've had on are these mitts, which are the PHDesigns Kappa mitts, and these have kept me warm today. That has definitely been absolutely brilliant having those on. And then just for the dexterity, I've got these Rab, I think they're called ice gauntlet gloves or something. They're quite old, these. They have just been a brilliant set of gloves for me, but they do definitely get wet now. That's my only issue. So I could do with like upgrading and maybe getting a pair that's going to keep me drier. But this is why I have 3 sets of gloves, so I've always got something to keep my hands warm, because it's all about survival when we're up here. We've got Bluey just falling asleep down there. We've got bags, boots, wet gear out there. I've got an absolute pile of junk at this side, snot rags, head torch ready. Oh dear, it is a bit chaotic sometimes, but you know, I'm gonna walk off this mountain and then get myself home tomorrow so I can dry it all out and sort it all out then and just enjoy what I'm doing at the minute, and that is having a cup of hot chocolate. Yes. I can't get into that, there's no chance. Use my magic teeth. So that is the coffee. Oh, it smells good actually, that. And now I'm going to add the hot chocolate. I'm so looking forward to this. This will sort me out, won't it? I won't be moaning about a grubby, messy tent then, will I, when I'm supping this? I'll be in my own little world, thinking about nice things in life, which I generally always do. I'll give that a stir. And then I'll find the lid, pop that on. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute because I think it's going to be a bit too hot, to be honest. Ah dear. Brilliant, eh? Just brilliant. It's just awesome to be out. I honestly just love adventure. I love just taking myself to places that just excite me. You know, it's one thing coming to somewhere like Red Town. I've been here several times and camped here several times, but you know, the weather makes it very different, and you know, it's like every single time you come out, it's just a different, a new adventure. And like I've said before, you wake up, the sun rises, and it's a new day, and you've never seen that day before. You have never seen that day, and there's no way of predicting what's going to happen. So I just love getting out and embracing that. Yeah. Awesome, eh? I do talk some rubbish though, don't I? I really do. Oh dear. Oh well, could be worse. That's better. We've got some light on the matter. It's just starting to get a bit darker now. That is exactly what I needed. Absolutely gorgeous, that. I can still hear a very light pitter patter of the snow, I think. Let's have a look outside and see what's going on. It is starting to get a bit dark though, but oh yeah, we've got some very light snow still. Very eerie looking out there, isn't it? Looks like there'll be some sort of a lake monster just going to start wading itself towards me. I'm not scared. I'll just butt it one and it'll be knocked out straight away. No one's taking my hot chocolate away from me. It's amazing how calm it is out there, really, considering the morning that I had, absolutely battling my way through that absolute horrendous weather. And look at me now, I've endured all that, and now I am sat in a tent smiling. I am comfortable, I'm warm, I've got hot chocolate, and I'm just in a very, very calm place. And there's just something to be said about that. I mean, that's sort of quite a good representation, I guess, of a lot of things in life, where you just end up in quite difficult times and hard, and it's always playing on your brain. You might suffer with anxiety from it, and then as long as you just keep moving, you pass through that temporary time, and then you come out the other side, and then you end up in a nice place again. So it's just something to think about, really, isn't it? I mean, as I say, everything's just temporary. You just got to keep plodding on through it and moving. Sitting still's the worst thing, definitely, because that just means you're sort of rotting in that singular place. Whereas if you're moving, you're just always refreshing yourself and sparking your brain with new things. Something along those lines, anyway. I'm just sat here enjoying my hot chocolate. Oh dear, being present. That's what it's about, being present in it all. I've just made myself a chicken curry, which is just an army ration pack, and I've added some extra grains into it. Not bad. Yeah, it's good as that. Could do with a bit more spice in it, really, on this cold night. Although it's actually changed from being -2, which it was sort of all day, to about +2 now. So it's a bit sort of sleety outside, which is obviously gonna cause everything to be damp because it's like saturated air. And that's why in here we've got just a ridiculous amount of moisture. So if I need a drink, I'll just lick the tent, eh? But hopefully we'll survive the night. That's what it's all about. Can you hear that? Absolute silence. And I've been sat in that for the last couple of hours without a thought in my brain, just in complete peace. And there's not really that many times in life where you can just absolutely switch off, but it has honestly been divine. Yeah, I've got a full belly, I'm nice and warm, I've got a big fat smile on my face, and I just feel completely elated after an epic day out in the mountains in some testing conditions. brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. Anyway, I am completely ready for bed. It's very damp in here, so I am sort of sat on my mat, which is like a little island just away from all this moisture. But we only have to survive the night, and then we can get back home and dry all the kit out and not worry about it now, eh? Anyway, it's time to lay this lug. And then when we get up in the morning, we will see what tomorrow brings. So, we'll see you in the morning. Take care. Morning, flowers. Well, I slept absolutely like a baby last night. But, as you can see, we have got a fair bit of weight sat up here. And if I flick you around here as well, we've got plenty of snow everywhere. The foot end, if I can show you. Oh, I can't even get anywhere. Here, I'll show you here, but obviously, again, we've got quite a bit of snow hanging about. So, I'm going to get myself up and have a look and see if we've got a sunrise. Are you ready for this? You can see it first, eh? Look at that. Wow. Right, let's get out and see what's going on out there, eh? Just amazing. Right, Bluey dog. Let's see if we can squeeze out of here. Wow. Get up. Look at this. Just not a sound. Absolute tranquility. Just ruined by an aeroplane. That's it. Ready. I am all out of adjectives. It's just next level, that, isn't it? That's what it is. Next level. Absolutely awesome. Just to note, this is quite a good example of the difference between a 3-season tent and a 4-season tent. This is 3-season, and obviously it's not the best with the snow loading because it sits on top of it and doesn't fall off. Ideally, you want all that snow to just fall off to the side so you've not got any of that weight sat on top. And when it does sit on top, you can see we've got a little bit of a pool there, and that's because obviously the heat in the tent is warmer than outside, and I've actually heated that up with my body heat. And we've actually got, oh look at that, we've got water sat there. As you can see, it's water underneath, but it's all frozen on top, just showing the difference in temperature between the two. Ace, eh? Absolutely ace. There we go, that looks a lot better. It's regained its shape now. Right, what to do then? I am just completely enjoying this. It's just incredible. The silence, the tranquility of it all. And not a breath of wind, literally nothing. I'm just looking at my temperature data from my little widget, and last night it generally hovered at about 3 degrees Celsius within the tent. So obviously it was colder outside, and that was shown just by the puddle on top of the tent as well as the frozen little bowl that we found. And currently now I am holding it out here and it is 0 degrees, so we're just at about freezing point. So anyway, it's interesting to sort of know the difference between in and out. I'd like to get another one of those, and I can have one outside and one inside just to double check and see what it's all about, eh? Just slowly get packed up. I pillow as well. Whoa. So in that bag I have got my sleeping bag, my down trousers, my down booties and my pillow, and it all packs into that little tiny thing. So it definitely saves on pack weight and pack size. Drop that into a full dry sack and that's going into my bag. Got to keep your down gear dry, eh? What else? Oh, my woolly hat. Hat hair. Let's get rid of that. I've got my trousers here as well, which are absolutely soaking from yesterday. So this is what I generally do. I'll carry some waterproof bottoms, but because I've also got my leggings, it just means that I can wear them down as a dry outfit if I do get wet, which these are very much soaking. So I'll find a place in my bag to put those. As you can see, the cloud has dropped, and that has also meant that the temperature's dropped as well. So I've got my hood on just to keep my legs warm. I've got my lovely mitts on, which are definitely keeping my hands warm. The bag is packed, the dog's bag's packed. We just now need to drop the tent and hopefully find all the pegs in the process. It's pretty eerie that though, isn't it? Look at that. You daft bugger. Can you hear that? More of that silence. It is absolutely grand. I honestly feel like a new man coming out here and just being part of all this. Anyway, the tent is packed up. I have left no trace, sort of, although I annoyingly think that I've lost a peg. So I'll have to come back at a later date and try find that when there's no snow around. Backpack's on, Blue's got his backpack on, and we are ready to skedaddle, eh? Let's get ourselves back down for a nice cooked breakfast somewhere. But it has just been epic, hasn't it? Just been out in that wild weather yesterday, and obviously having all the kit to be able to survive that. Things like gloves, very important, and these Kappa gloves from PHDesigns have been absolutely awesome. When I put them on this morning, they were actually damp inside, and now that my body heat has sort of heated them up a bit, the moisture has dissipated to probably the outside of this, and they are now comfortably dry and warm. And yeah, setting the tent up with all the gear to keep us nice and warm for the night. And now we're just going to leave this mountain with a big fat smile on our faces, eh? Yes, awesome. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give it a big fat thumbs up, a fat thumbs up. And if you want to contribute, as always, you can, whoa, fall down a hole. Dear, I need to concentrate a bit more. And you can buy me a coffee in the Buy Me a Coffee link, join the Patreon, and just make sure you are sharing my channel with everyone possible so we can get more people out in nature and I can take them along for this lovely adventure. So, from me and the beautiful Blue, we'll see you on the next one. Take care.